little bit of leather and a little bit of lace. My oh my mother had a pretty face. My mother was a goddess, was a pagan. My dad, he was from the stars. He left his face a calling card on the planet Mars.
That's because you've been vacationing in the Greek islands.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Blues, here we are at Cedar Beach.
Yep, Cedar Beach.
Not a mud fest. It's a dry parking lot.
Mm-hmm. And nice tropical breezes.
Yeah. I heard you had a great opening act yesterday.
We had this strange cosmic disturbance. There was an electromagnetic flash. It almost reminded me of like a science fiction transporter. And then this fellow appeared with a guitar in his hand. I didn't realize they had guitars in outer space, but he let go with some of the most cosmic blues.
Blues yodeling.
Blues yodeling. There were blues maracas. Obviously, this guy has been on Earth before.
Yeah.
And they opened it up. They set the tone for what turned into a great day at Cedar Beach.
Yeah. He's talking about my band, my other band, me and Zenbock, And I promised everybody that the weather was going to pick up and get nice.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. And it did.
Yeah.
So, all right, for those that are catching the show, I would also want to introduce two bands, and then we'll come back to you and I and continue this discussion. I have on tape, I'm going to show Kerry's. And
Kerry Carney.
How long have you had Kerry in the playing here?
Kerry Carney has certainly been playing at Cedar Beach for 10 years. Since the very first time I met him, I knew he was a special talent. Yeah, about 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
I don't.
First year I met you, I walked in here, ears and all, and there was Kerry.
Here's this flash of electromagnetic radiation, and in strolls this guy. He says, "Hi, you mind if I play?" I was like, "Well, the Federation starship is hovering over there, and we just don't have time."
What was odd was we actually had a whole sound stage with us.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to rock the boat if we weren't known.
Well, you became known to us here on Long Island as your home away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little cooler here than on Vulcan.
A lot cooler.
Yeah.
A lot cooler.
How do you handle the changes?
I look for earth women to keep myself comfortable with.
So that's how you do the changes.
Yeah. Well, it is cooler, and some of the earth women I met are like ice.
Yeah, well, cold as ice. Oh, this is going to turn into a whole rock vignette here.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is you've given an opportunity for a lot of bands to develop over the years. I mean, my friend Crazy Helen, who plays with me, and there's just a lot of musicians who come out.
Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. Oh, the rock me, baby, just like the backbone was my own. I said, roll it down, yeah, down, to touch it to that old white feel, round and round.
You know, do you ever stop to think how many musicians on this weekend are here? I mean, you talk in terms of, what, 18, 20-something bands.
Well, 32 acts.
32 acts averaging 4 an act?
Yeah, I mean, I would even say conservatively 3 an act, because there's some solo acts at the main at the acoustic. But actually, the American Primitive String Band has like 7 people in it, and
so you got,
most bands are 4. Yeah, so
you got maybe 100 musicians at least.
100 musicians over the weekend, without a doubt.
Yeah, coming in here and playing, offering their talents.
The 16th annual Cedar Beach, but certain years we actually had 2 festivals a year. So it may well be that this is the 20th or 22nd Cedar Beach Festival, because we would have them in the fall and the spring. Now we've settled on having them in the fall for a number of reasons. The weather is more predictable as long as a hurricane isn't coming through, and it's warmer. It's certainly warmer in end of September than it is in the middle of May. So we find that it works better for us. Also, there aren't other festivals going on now, so it's sort of like a.
You're not competing.
We're not competing, but we're also giving people a nice send-off into whatever goes on in the winter. You know, it was nice to do it in May, because then it was the beginning of the summer.
Right.
And now it's the end of the summer thing. It works.
Yeah, well, the weather has not been a problem with temperature. We really haven't had that. You know, I mean, if you get a cold day in spring, you get it too. But now I want to mention something. You have several titles, and I refer to you as Dr. Blues.
Some of them I can't really discuss because they're in the midst of honey.
We're going to get into that. What I wanted to say though is the several hats you have. First of all, you are the doctor, really.
Yes. Before I became Dr. Blues, I was and still am Dr. Gresser. I'm a board-certified podiatrist. I have an office in Center Moriches and an office in Mount Sinai, in Suffolk County. And
you have a hospital association with that?
I'm affiliated at Brookhaven Hospital, you know, where I do my surgery, and I provide foot care to a very wide range of patients, from elderly to diabetics, to pediatrics, to middle-aged and younger sports injuries. You know, so I pretty much cover the gamut of foot ailments. And then some years back, I was given the moniker Dr. Blues by a DJ at WUSB, who you know, I used to come up there. I would always bring up my new discovery, and he would put it on the air, and you know, and at the time I was home brewing, so we would also surreptitiously sample the newest Dr. Blues brew.
Dr. Blues brew. Okay, now we get into another thing. You mentioned radio. We've done our radio show on and off over years, but you've been associated with your taste in music, which is more than just blues, obviously.
Yeah, I have a reasonably diverse realm of interests. You know, I saw the Grateful Dead 200 times, and because they were a real potpourri of American music styles, I was exposed to bluegrass, I was exposed to blues, certainly rock, folk, Zydeco. I enjoy world music and Caribbean rhythms and Latin and French, the French Caribbean musics. I probably don't know much about house music and hip hop simply because I just don't know about it. I enjoy reggae. Yeah. But my love is blues and roots music, and that's what I help to grow on Long Island.
And another hat you have is a writer. Reviews.
I do a fair amount of writing. I write for. I've written for the Tri-State Blues, which is defunct. I've written for the Improper Hamptonian. I'm writing for the Long Island Pulse. I'm writing a lot of the material for the upcoming Long Island Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I write Dr. Blues CD reviews, which have worldwide syndication over Yahoo groups and wherever they get forwarded. So I do a fair amount of writing about music and occasionally about other things.
See, now I'm not done with your hats. You got one or two more that I want to mention.
Oh, all right.
All right, and another hat.
My haberdashery is.
You don't have the top hat on, but top hat and all is my old line with you.
Yeah.
But
you actually get to see my face without the top hat.
Yeah, I know. Well, you'd probably blow off today.
Yeah.
So besides the writing, you have a long-time association working with Long Island Blues Society.
Absolutely.
Which we call LIBS.
LIBS. I'm the vice president of the Blues Society. Actually, the Blues Society, in some respects, grew out of this festival. The Cedar Beach Blues Festival in its 16th year, the Blues Society in our 10th year, or 11th year, somewhere around there. We knew that there was a need for a Long Island Blues Society.
Definitely.
And every year we would say, if you're interested in forming a Long Island Blues Society, give us your names, and eventually we did what needed to be done.
And that has charity applications,
actually,
which we
SUNY
show.
Stony Brook played a big role in the Blues Society. Our first meetings were held at the station at USB, and the central core of the executive board are people who were in one way or another affiliated with the university. Yeah.
And then there are, I would say, splinter events such as the Riverhead Blues Festival, which we get involved in.
Right, Riverhead. In some ways, I can take a little credit. Tom Gahan, who was the founder, actually was here for several years, seeing what we did, asking us questions to.
And our talent pool.
Was available. The Blues Society has the technical know-how on running events, and we every year for this was the sixth or seventh. This was the 6th annual. I think it was 7th annual. Anyway, this was the
99.
More than 5th annual.
99 was the first one.
All right, so then this was the 7th annual. The Blues Society, year after year, has been there providing technical support and volunteers and assistance in any way we can. Some years we were consulted on lineup, other years we weren't. We're just happy to be able to bring the blues to Long Island, which is what the Blues Society is about. Our Constitution says to support and develop the blues on Long Island.
And there was charity events. We did a women's charity.
We did a breast cancer thing.
Breast Cancer Cure. I always like to make sure people understand what we're doing there.
Yeah, and yes, we definitely want to be clear that we're looking to wipe out breast cancer. Way too many women.
It was Carol Ann Baldwin's push,
right, we did it with Carol Ann Baldwin. We've done charity events to benefit the fight against autism. Every year when we send a blues musician down to Memphis to compete in the International Blues Challenge.
That's the next thing I was going to get to.
And hopefully that can turn into a major national career for somebody.
We had a winner?
We certainly did. Our second time out of the box, we sent Toby Walker down there in 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
And he won.
Yeah.
He won the International Blues Challenge, which is virtually unheard of. I mean, there are societies that have been sending bands there for 30 years, and have never gotten even into the running. And we send somebody down our second time out, and they win.
Whose line was it? Was Joe Graham Williams' line? If you're good as a blues musician, that ain't good enough for Long Island?
Yeah. Long Island, well, you know what the funny thing is? I went last year with, because Hooch and the Bluesicians won for Long Island, and we sent Tommy Keys down there, and other bands were sent by the New York, New Jersey Blues Society, and other Long Island bands were sent down there. So there were like 5 Long Island bands down there, so I decided I would take a ride. You know, Hooch and I drove down, so that way their equipment would be able to get there safely.
Right.
And what was unique was people don't think about the quality of what they're seeing on Long Island. They sort of take it for granted, but you really know what you're up against when you go to the jams in Memphis, the after-hour jams, and other people just say, "Where are you guys from?" And they throw up their hands, and it ends up being a Long Island jam.
Yeah.
Like you could see, you know, 5 nights a week on Long Island, but it was in Memphis, and these other bands were like blown away.
Yeah, we have
I
a
mean,
top. It is a top, and it's a friendly talent pool too. You know, and you have one more hat. I think I covered all the hats on this one that I know of. You're involved with a Chamber of Commerce.
I am,
and it's not just a town, which I find amazing.
We're the CDM Chamber of Commerce. CDM standing for Council of Dedicated Merchants. It's a little unwieldy, the name, but the other option was Mount Sinai, Sound Beach, Miller Place, Rocky Point Chamber of Commerce. So we cover most of northern Brookhaven. Well, from the Port Jeff line to the Shoreham line, all the businesses in this area are part of the CDM Chamber of Commerce, and we do a number of things. And this is the largest project of the year. The CDM and the Blues Society put on this festival, and prior to the Blues Society, the CDM and me and I put on this blues festival. But the CDM Chamber of Commerce uses these funds to support business-oriented seniors. We give them a worthy senior from Mount Sinai, Miller Place, and Rocky Point High Schools a scholarship. In the past, it was about $500 per student, and I have a feeling that it certainly will be $1,000 or more this year, since we've done very well with this festival. People, for the most part, are gracious. There's a $2 donation, and people are for the most part gracious. You're going to have that situation, I suppose, anywhere that you have humans. You're going to have people who are human, and you're going to have humans who are inhuman.
Yeah, well,
and the
humanity.
The inhuman ones know who they are.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't. That's the unfortunate thing.
I don't know. I find humans very strange. I haven't quite figured this planet out.
I was hoping that you would be able to shed some light on that, being an outsider.
It's the logic that I don't understand here. You know.
Oh, there is a hat that you neglected.
Oh, what hat did I neglect?
The hat that will require me to be wearing a tux and possibly a top hat on October 15th. I'm assistant chairperson of the Long Island Music Hall of Fame.
Well, now you mentioned Long Island Music Hall of Fame. This is interesting. I take it, besides blues, we've had some people that are out there that have been known across the country, major musicians.
My research in the beginning, when we were populating the Yahoo database, because before we had a website and all that, when we first got started, it's easy to get a Yahoo group website. So we have LI Music Hall of Fame at Yahoo groups. The database, there are, well, let me point out to you, first of all, that Long Island extends from the East River to Montauk and Orient Point geographically. So we are inclusive of Queens and Brooklyn in our Long Island Music Hall of Fame, and there is historical precedent to that too. If you look, at the original land patents that King George gave to the Duke of York, and the formation of Long Island originally.
Well, we are an island.
The counties,
so,
and we're an island.
We're not a city line like some people think.
There's no bridge crossing a body of water at the Nassau line. So, I mean,
We do have a canal.
we do have a canal, but that's at Shinnecock.
Yeah, I know. It's still.
Yeah. So actually that might be a historical basis for eventually covering Nassau, Suffolk, Brooklyn, Queens, and Peconic County.
Right.
But that's
With a mule skinner going along the. It's an old blues line. They got mule skinners. But so you got an event with the Long Island Hall of Fame.
Yes, on October 15th we're having our first induction, and many of you know the more famous names. Obviously, everybody knows Billy Joel's from Long Island, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar, the Stray Cats. A lot of people may not know that Aaron Copland, George and Ira Gershwin, Perry Como, Tony Bennett, Glenn Miller, Louis Armstrong, all these people are from Long Island. So the first induction will be occurring on October 15th at the Patchogue Theater. We'll be honoring Billy Joel, Harry Chapin, Little Buster, Sam Taylor, Vanilla Fudge, Mountain, 3 of the 4
Mountain's
members
from
of
here?
Chris. Leslie West
Leslie
grew up
West?
in Forest Hills.
Oh my gosh.
Corky Lang grew up in Canada.
Oh really? Well, I was a Mountain fan. I was a Mountain fan.
Yeah, Leslie.
yeah.
And Leslie is very proud of being from Long Island. When he plays Long Island, he's like, you know, he talks about places and stuff, and it's amazing. Some of you may not know, but members of Spyro Gyro are from Long Island. The drummer from the Dixie Dregs is from Plainview, my hometown.
No.
It's you know, I mean, all the great bands from the '60s that people, you know, who were there remember. Barnaby Bye, the Alessi Brothers, Attila, which was Billy Joel's band, the Hassles. Plus, you go back to the '50s. Well, BOC was Soft White Underbelly, and they played all over the Stony Brook area.
But who would you say from the 50s?
Well, Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge,
Right.
Little Anthony and the Blues Imperials. There are many doo-wop groups that came out of Brooklyn.
Or one of the coasters here? I believe they were. There was one. But
I'm not
anyway,
sure.
yeah.
I love the Coasters. What a
Yeah.
great sound they
Yeah.
had. So that's what's happening with that.
So we're going to give here the heritage of our musical background in a way that other Long Islanders will know that we made a contribution to music.
And the trophy or the award that we had designed for the inductees is gorgeous. And I don't have one here, but you can go to our website and put it on there.
That's Long Island
LImusichallofFame.org. It's a G clef in polished brass on a black marble base, where the name of the recipient will be etched in gold, and we have a logo which is a musical staff, but looking like a wave. So that's part of it, and the actual poster was shot, I believe, here at Cedar Beach, where it's sort of tilted in the sand and a wave is coming up around the base of it. Our graphic arts person, Sue, is an artist. The thing is, hopefully you'll be hearing this before the event. Go to LongIslandMusicHallOfFame.org and you can get tickets for the induction. There are only 500 seats available to the public because we have to provide seats for the honorees, families, and sponsors, and you know, and the like. This is well, for us it's a black tie event. For you it's dress rock, dress to impress rock.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. It's not a t-shirt and shorts kind of deal. This is going to be a
So
real
we can
deal.
tie-dye our white shirts.
You could tie-dye your white shirt and put it underneath a nice vest. The tickets range, well, if you're a member, the tickets, you have a discount. It actually pays to become a member just for the discount. But the tickets range from $125 to $495. Obviously, the $495 you get to go to the reception where you'll be able to meet and talk to Billy Joel, George Gershwin's family, Harry Chapin's family. Sam Taylor's flying in specifically from Europe for his induction and going right back out the next day back to Europe. Leslie West will be there, Vanilla Fudge. We're not sure about the Stray Cats. You can go onto the website, and the lineup of confirmed inductees will be there. I know that in terms of MCs, Alec Baldwin, Jackie the Joke Man, Felix Cavalieri, Roger, who's the guy from Foghat?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Roger, the drummer from
the
Foghat.
drummer. Yeah.
Anyway, the lineup of inductors is also quite impressive, and you can go to the website.
Yeah.
Not to belabor the point.
It sounds great. It sounds great. You, like I said, and I started this interview off, is you're a man with a lot of hats, a lot of things going on, and there are people who only know you with one hat, which is typical of everything.
Well, there's one last hat, and it's my biggest hat.
Yeah.
Nicholas and Kira's dad.
Yep. And I'm Ty Bach's dad, and that much we have in common, you know. And I have to say, you've been a long-time friend, and our first meeting was one that I think would have probably been a stressful situation. A Vulcan walking up to you in the middle of a hectic day setting up, ready to put a sound stage up on the other side, and ended up walking around with you all day, having fun.
Yeah, we had a great time. I think it had something to do with the Vulcan libations that you were plying me with, though.
Well,
Us Earth people aren't really meant to drink those high-octane Vulcan
I don't think you got up
preparations.
in the morning and expected to see a Vulcan walk into Cedar Beach.
I certainly did not.
You know, and I have a prized possession that you gave me many years ago.
What's that?
I have a Star Trek tie that occasionally when I need to be in the formal, I'm into the tie.
Huh?
So today I'm in the informal, which in case
But
nobody's...
you are wearing a handsome Long Island Blues
I am
Society,
wearing a Long Island Blues Society shirt.
and I'm wearing my Renew Orleans shirt,
Right.
which is a double play on the damage to New Orleans at Katrina, and that we need to rebuild that place.
Yep. One day I'll, off and then on camera, tell you what we found out, what's going on down there. It's a whole story in itself.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get people depressed. But anyway, I want to thank you for your time.
It's been my pleasure,
You know,
Zen. And maybe one day we'll do a festival on Vulcan.
Maybe, and maybe one day I'll get you into the spaceship and we can narrate some of the music we got. And,
I'd love that.
And you can co-host on the TV show. And maybe one day we'll get you on the pod program.
Only if you promise that we won't go past Warp 7, because you know how my inner ear gets a little crazy.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that, huh? Especially how that dinner didn't sit well with you. Yeah, we won't get them.
Where did you get the grach from?
I don't know.
I never realized that Vulcans like Klingon food.
No, we do Klingon Fest all the time, you know. And you know, the food that moves, and
so like Earthlings
Blood
have
wine.
chili fests and barbecue fests. You have Vulcan, Klingon food festivals. on Vulcan?
I played a Klingon Fest, which was on the show a few months ago, and they had Klingon gambling while the Atlantic City was shut down.
Really?
And I want to tell you something. If you win with a Klingon who's the running the table, the dealer, you lose. They're not sore losers. They don't lose.
They don't lose.
They don't lose.
Yes.
And if they sound polite, then you're in real trouble. A polite Klingon is an oxymoron. But don't call him a moron.
A polite Klingon knows there's somebody behind you with one of those nasty Klingon knives waiting to dispatch you to the great beyond.
Yeah, so you heard it live on tape on Zenbock's Forte at Cedar Beach.
Here's to you, Long Island.
He's from across the street fishing. 20 years.